For Green Bay Packers, our conversation with Wayne Larrivee, sponsored by Steam Fitters Local 601. Learn more by visiting steam601.org and by the National Fire Sprinklers Association. Visit them at nfsa.org. It was a buffet of great calls for you and Larry yesterday, Wayne. Good morning, my friend. Gotta love games in which there's good action to call.
Right? Yeah, it really do. And especially when the action is for the home team that you happen to be covering. So, it really was. It was a really, I thought, an excellent performance overall by the Packers. Probably their most complete game of the year to date.
Yeah, it was great to watch. I opened the show this morning by saying, never forget, Packer fans, there's nothing in the universe that ordains it that your team has to be the one that looks so professional, ready to play, well-constructed, well-prepared. And the other team has to be the clown show that looks like, do you even practice, bro? With all their false starts and everything else. Nothing in the universe says it has to be that way. We're living right now in a period for this franchise of incredible efficiency. And just, it's such a beautiful machine they got going on right now. I knock on wood saying, may it never end.
I hope you're right. Yeah, I hope you're right. And the thing about as we go forward in this season, coming off a win like this, the Packers are going to get a heck of a test next week against the Houston Texans. But, you're starting now, you get to start thinking about, well, where do they fit in this season's pantheon of Super Bowl contenders? Are they one of those teams? That's what the next few weeks we'll find out. But you know what? I thought, Czabe, really the important part about this home game and about this 2-week stretch here, you can't clinch anything from a playoff standpoint in October.
No.
But if you're going to be part of the discussion in December and January, you got to win a few of these games. You got to make yourself eligible, and that's what this is all about at this stretch of the year.
When you talk about where do the Packers put themselves as far as Super Bowl contenders, let's just talk about the NFC North, because right now the top 4 teams in point differential are all in the NFC North. You got the Vikings plus 61, the Lions plus 60, the Bears plus 47, and the Packers are plus 41. They're fourth in the division as far as point differential. Like, that division is crazy.
In all the years I've been around the NFC North, I have never seen a division like this at all at this stage of the season. I mean, everybody's 2 games over 500 at least, if not better.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see. I was reading an article. I didn't realize this, but I guess you could conceivably, under the present playoff format, get all 4 of your teams into the playoffs. And wouldn't that be interesting?
That would be amazing, is what it would be. But I don't know if that's in the cards. But right now, the division is looking strong. So there was a moment of drama in the game. I'm going to play a highlight as well from your call. 5:08 left, second quarter, 17-0 Packers. Reed fumbles a punt return. Arizona recovers. They would have had it 1st and 10 at the 23. But offsetting penalties, one of the 13 penalties that the Cardinals got called for, nullified it. They re-kick, and then Keshawn Nixon, with his best return of the year so far in either punts or kickoffs. They don't return kicks, except for they had 1 yesterday. They've had 2 for the season. And he goes around the left end. In that call, your partner, Larry McCarron, says something that we're trying to figure out what he said. Luddy, can you play the audio, and then we'll hear from Wayne as to what it was that got Larry so excited in that moment.
At the 20, makes the turn, 25-30, left sideline, 35-40, he's to the 50.
What does Larry say there? Bah!
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Did you ask him afterwards, like, hey, Larry, what was that?
No, you're probably just used to it.
I usually know that when Larry does something like that, he saw someone usually blocking that plastered somebody else.
Thing exciting.
What it usually means. So I never asked him because I thought that's what it was.
I like that. I love how he adds those little grace notes to your calls. There's some play-by-play guys, Wayne, that don't want anyone stepping on their yard, so to speak, at all. I assume you're fine with that.
Oh, absolutely. When I was in Chicago, the 85 Bears, they brought in Dick Butch to join Jim Hart and I to do the broadcast. And their instructions to Dick were this: Dick, we don't care if you know anything about the Bears or not. We want you at the game. We want you to be the fan surrogate. When the Bears do something well, we want you to go, yeah. And when the Bears do something bad, oh, and he did that very well. Being an actor as he was out of Malibu, California, he did it well.
That is great. Yeah, well, that was good to see. So many great things in this game. Let's just start going through them. First and foremost, great to see Romeo Doubs in the end zone twice. Two great, strong hand, great body control, great ball awareness, situations. This guy, when they throw it to 87, he usually comes down with it almost without fail. That was wonderful to see. And then the end zone celebration with his teammates gathering around him. So they've welcomed him back, which I am very happy to see.
I thought that was significant in the south end zone after his first touchdown reception, too. That caught my eye. I mentioned they were hugging him in the end zone, and worth a mention because, a lot of times they hug, whoever caught the touchdown pass.
Sure.
But this was pretty significant because it was out on the field. It wasn't in the sidelines, and it was just everybody reacting in a very public way. And you're exactly right, Czabe. I had the same feeling when I saw it. They were welcoming him back into the fold.
Now, prior to that, Reed was cooking, and I tweeted, WR11 is WR1. It's over. He's clearly such a dynamic player. Orlovsky on ESPN said that the Packers have found their own Deebo Samuel. That's a decent comp. I'll take that. I just love him as a player. But they've got guys that can do things now, and they got a bunch of them. So they're going to have to sort out how they deploy, how they use them, how they feed all these mouths. But that is, as they say, a good problem to have. When it comes to Love, Wayne, I am shocked at how well it looks like he's moving. Are you?
Yeah, a little. When he first went down, we were thinking, boy, this could be the season.
Season's over. That's what I thought.
It was the worst nightmare a Packers fan could have. But he comes back fairly early from that injury, and he just keeps moving better and better. The run in Los Angeles last week against the Rams, I think it was a 12-yard run, really showed that he has some confidence in that leg. And then I thought yesterday he moved around great. He ran when he had to run. He was able to escape pressure. He made some wonderful throws, and I think that was his most complete game and thus the team's most complete game offensively. But, guys, let's talk a little bit about defense too because, they didn't get any sacks, okay? And somebody this week is going to be writing about that, and somebody on the radio is going to be moaning about that. But they contained Kyler Murray to 14 yards on 7 rushing attempts. Kyler Murray destroyed the 49ers last week in Santa Clara. He had a 50-yard run to start the game, had 83 yards in that game. So, I think Jeff Hafley against Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson, Kyler Murray has given up a total of 84 rushing yards to those quarterbacks on 24 running attempts. That's a 3.5-yard average, a long gain of 21, no touchdowns, and they have 3 sacks against those guys. The way Hafley did his defense, the contained rushing, that kind of thing, I think it was a kind of a subtle undertone to making the Cardinals have to work for their offense.
Preach on that one there.
The defense was great, but let's get into one negative thing, which people are talking about now, even more than the defense, is Narveson and the kicker and where they're at. Now, the one area that I thought, Goody got frustrated with Carlson was the missed extra points. Narveson hasn't missed the extra point, went 4 for 4 yesterday, missed the field goal. But where do you think the Packers stand on Narveson? Do you think he's going to survive another week?
Boy, I think he will, but I don't know for sure how disturbed they are. I know once he did miss that 44-yarder wide right, they sent him out there for a 41-yarder, and he made that. So it's hard to tell, but I'm looking at Arizona. We were talking about this kind of off the air. I probably shouldn't even say it, but all right, this guy who was kicking, this Ryland, who kicked last week in San Francisco for Arizona and kicked this week in Green Bay. They have Matt Prater. Matt Prater is one of the legendary kickers in this league. No one has kicked more 50-yard field goals than the 81 that Matt Prater has made in his 18-year career. But he's been out the last 2 weeks with a knee injury. And they've got this kid who only missed 1 field goal. Why? Because it was blocked in return for a touchdown in Santa Clara last week. But aside from that, he's been kicking everything well. He had a 38 and a 40-yarder. But, you wonder, okay, when Prater comes back, maybe this week, and Ryland's on the street, maybe this week, what happens? I don't know.
Wrap him up. Wrap him up. I'll take him. Seriously. I'm with you, Wayne. I'm with you.
I'm not saying they should do that, guys. I'm not saying that at all. That's not
I know.
But, I mean,
Right.
speculation, this guy, he's a pretty good kicker. I've watched him for 2 weeks now. He's a good kicker.
Yeah.
Not that Narveson isn't. But
Yeah.
this guy also, if he's out there, I don't know. Maybe they take a flyer on him. I don't know.
He was a 4th-round pick that New England picked in 2023. So obviously, there's enough body of work there too that Packers probably can look at him as well.
Yeah.
But look at you. Look at you looking up a draft status of a kicker. I mean, you probably aren't going to do basketball.
Wayne,
you're just going to do football.
I should. I know. That and Rocket Man. I mean, me and Elon Musk, I don't know how to get some more rockets.
Man, oh, my goodness. Oh, my. I don't believe it. We are getting way too close to the edge of this show.
Yeah, you're right about that.
All right. Anything else to add about the game? A professional, thorough, beaten by a great franchise that has got things all moving in the right direction in a very tough division. And we got the Texans coming to town next Sunday.
Yeah, I think there's only been one division game played, and that was the 28-0 at halftime. The Vikings, or 28-7 at halftime, the Vikings and Packers. But I think that, it's going to be interesting to see. You better win these out of division games because it's going to be a bloodbath in that division. It really is week to week. So it's important. This Houston game is going to be a real good litmus test as to where the Packers are. Now, Houston does not have their best receiver, Nico Collins. He's one of the best receivers in the league. But so is Stephon Diggs, and he's still there. And so this is going to be an interesting ball game this week. Houston is a real Super Bowl contender on the AFC side, and this will be interesting to see where the Packers stack up in this ball game. And if they get a win, then look out.
All right, very good. Wayne, as always, a pleasure, my friend, and we will talk to you on Friday.
Sounds good, guys. Take care. Have a good week.
Wayne Larrivee, brought to you by Steam Fitters, Local 601, and the National Fire Sprinklers Association. There's something weird happening in college football. First of all, Saturday night was bonkers good.
It was really good.
The 3-pack of games all happening at once on Saturday night. If you don't have 3 TVs, I can't help you. I've told you for years now to get 3 TVs in whatever den, basement, living room, man cave you've got. 3 is the right number. You can buy more. They're not expensive anymore. I see people go, look at this guy's TV. Shut up. He's got like 9 TVs of all different sizes. I'm like, cool, bro. You have a gambling problem, but that's fine. 3 is the most anyone can really watch like this at a time. And it's great now, especially because baseball is going on. And if you like baseball, like I do, you're going to want to watch the games, even though you're not rooting for either the Mets or the Dodgers. You're watching the game because it's baseball, and baseball is going to end. And then you're going to be kind of sad, like it's over. I kind of miss it. 3 TVs, sit there, watch the games at once. 3 TVs on Saturday night had Tennessee, Florida, LSU, Ole Miss, and Ohio State, Oregon. And they were all amazing. And then as a nightcap, you had K-State take down Dion late with their quarterback, who was strutting in front of the celebrity row of Dion sycophants there, the Kevin Durant's of the world. Carmelo Anthony's are like, I'm going to go to the game and be on the sideline with Dion.
It's like the 94 Falcons all over again.
Yeah.
It was
It started before that with Penn State, USC. I mean, those were the 3 that were going on, but
right.
all day
Alabama
Saturday
had a scare against Southern USC, not Southern Cal,
South Carolina.
South Carolina. But here's what's going on, which is crazy. Army and Navy are both undefeated and in the top 25. I did a quick Google search. It's the first time since 1960 that they've both been in the top 25 together. My mind instantly went to, oh man, have they ever met each other at the end of the road, both with zeros on the right-hand side of their record? Have they ever met while they were both undefeated? My gut answer would be hell no. That's never happened before. Could it happen this year? What's the rest of their schedules look like? On a scale of 1 to awesome, imagine Army, Navy, undefeated. Both probably at that point would be near top 10.
Billy was saying last night that if they're both undefeated, they'll meet for the AAC championship the week before they play the Army-Navy game.
Wow. I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up, we got our guy, Mike Heller, will join us next. His thoughts on the Packers, the Badgers, life, and more. You're listening to Czabe and Butch in the Morning on the Game.
Why?
Why? I don't know why. I don't know. Never been in a fight. You?
No, but that's a good thing.
No, it is not. How much can you know about yourself? You've never been in a fight. I don't want to die without any scars. So come on, hit me before I lose my nerve.
See, that's the difference between us. You think we're fighting, and I think we're finally talking. You ain't done nothing.
I think one of the worst phrases in sports radio is, you're absolutely right. Never say you're absolutely right to somebody else. Have a slightly different take, at least to make it interesting. Fighting is what sports fandom is all about. Mike Keller, good morning, sir. How are you, my friend?
Couldn't be better. Happy Monday. How are you?
Doing great, man. Our teams are doing good. There's not dysfunction. There's not weirdo coaches that we have to defend like Nick Sirianni in Philadelphia. Our team is not abjectly humiliated like the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. We've got good players who we like, who are professionals. Life is good right now.
Packers and Badgers are a combined 4-0 since the Brewers were knocked out.
Yeah. Not bad.
Haven't lost.
This is the pick-me-up we needed to get over things.
Almost like
imagine, imagine being a Tigers fan and having your heart cut out the way it was cut out over the weekend.
Yeah. Well, and they're playing, I know some people hate this phrase, but they were playing with house money having arrived, like Kansas City was playing with in the same regard. So the future looks bright. But yeah, that's the only team I can root for in Major League Baseball's playoffs are the Cleveland Guardians. I like Stephen Vogt. Cleveland hadn't won a World Series since the mid-'40s. It's the only team. The other three are the top two media markets in America, and three of the top, 4 or 5 paying teams in all of baseball. Yeah.
Did you watch any of the Dodgers Mets last night?
I didn't. No.
When you watch it, does it disgust you? Does it physically
no
make you ill? Because for some people I know, that's their feeling. Butchie, when you turn on that game briefly, did it revolt you looking at those two teams?
I mean, okay. I'm not mad at here's the
You're
thing.
Not mad?
You either like baseball, you don't like baseball.
Yeah,
that's the way it's set up.
That matchup alone, the team that beat us, the Mets, and the Dodgers, the comically overbuilt, overspent Dodgers, is enough to make some people sick.
I understand it. For me, no, because I know that's baseball. That's the way it should be. Like, you spend more money to get better players. Better players probably are going to get you more wins. Like, that's sports.
It was a queasy watch for me, Mike.
When you get to this point, this is baseball's for the networks. It's the best scenario for the league. It also sits that way, but this is where you turn off a fair amount of the fan base. This is where money rises to the top. Doesn't happen this way very often. But in this case, you'll look at it and go, wow, the game. Some people will say, this is the example of how the game is broken, is that 3 of the top 4 paying teams in baseball are there at the end. Yeah.
I will say the pitch clock has made postseason baseball such a joy.
Isn't it fantastic?
Yeah, because the pitches come at a regular interval, a consistent regular interval, or in the case with Scooble, even quicker than that, because he'll fire with 10 seconds left on the pitch clock. There is such a huge thing that has made the postseason product more palatable to the average television viewer and the casual fan. That is not a drawn out, okay, when's the next pitch going to be? Hold on, he's off the mound. He's rubbing the ball up.
So, by the way, just to illustrate why I didn't watch last night, a bridal shower. My daughter Savannah in from Salt Lake with her fiance, and we did a bridal shower up in Butchie's neck of the woods, up in Appleton. So right. So we talk about scheduling weddings in the fall. Yeah, avoid that. But a bridal shower at 5:00 on a Sunday, that worked, right? I mean, I missed the Mets Dodgers and I missed the Sunday night football game, but I was at Lambeau.
So you hustled out.
But now,
Lambeau.
why couldn't the TV be on during the bridal shower?
We were all at a big long table, about 25 of us having a dinner and talking to one another and sharing conversation. So no.
Who organized this? Mrs. Heller?
Well, Kari did, yeah. Mostly with my sister.
And what did she run it by you first?
Oh yeah, we organized this. I mean, the only way it could happen was Sunday after I left Lambeau, and it had to be in Appleton, where our family is, where my siblings are, because it couldn't come back to Madison. I wouldn't got back here till 7:30, 8 o'clock. Couldn't be Saturday. I was in New Jersey.
Right.
So yeah, this is the only way it worked.
So
it was good.
I'm wondering, are you low key bitching about this, or was this a shout out to your lovely daughter?
Oh no, it was fantastic. You just had. Otherwise, I would have watched Dodgers Mets. It was not a good game anyway.
Well, do you like your fiance? Enough with that. Do you like the fiance? I mean, let's dad talk.
Yeah,
Nick,
real talk. Let's real talk. Yeah. How about
real talk? Is he all right?
The son-in-law to be. Let's real talk.
Nick's a good dude. So I got a couple of Nicks. So I got 3 of them. Right, the Nick I do a show with.
Yeah,
I got a Nick.
How's he?
We'll leave him for
okay.
All
right. Well, I mean, let's just.
I don't want him dating my daughter. How's that?
That's fair.
Yep. No, he's fine. I've got no issues with Nick. And then I got a live-in-law, Nick, who is with my daughter Elizabeth in Nashville. Right, not engaged yet. We'll see. I would be great with that.
I didn't even know that was a term. We call that a.
Right. I think Heller just made that up to feel all right about what they're doing.
Call it a boyfriend or a deadbeat, I believe, is the other.
Yeah, he's the first, but he's not the latter. So we call him our live-in-law.
Does he live in with your daughter at her place, or vice versa? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And what does he do right now? He's at a bar?
No, he's a musician. They're both in the music industry.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
They'll be in love and in poverty for their whole lives.
And then the third Nick is the Nick that is going to marry Savannah in March at Zion National Park in Utah.
Oh wow!
So, good dude. Good
all right,
dude.
top 3 Monday can now rank the top. Now rank them top 3. Oh shoot, that's Tuesday.
But
go ahead, rank them.
I'm not ranking my Knicks. But Brucewitz is third.
Right, barely hanging on to the third rung.
That part is easy.
That is some big Nick energy that Heller has going on in his life.
Yeah.
So just to close this out, had they not been a bridal shower last night, had you not turned on a second of that Mets-Dodgers game, I think that would have been just fine. It's okay. Who cares?
Yeah, I like postseason baseball, and I do have a sense of the history of watching a game from Dodger Stadium and having a Mets-Dodgers scenario. Like, what's the network dream right here is not the Subway Series. It would be Yankees-Dodgers, right? And that would take you back, Czabe. People of a certain age would take you back to some Yankees-Dodgers that have been part of our childhood.
Oh, yeah.
So that part, that's nostalgic to great stadiums, to historic outdoor venues. Baseball F's this up. They're playing a game at 3:00 today in the league championship series. It's just the worst. Baseball sometimes doesn't get it, but I don't have as much disdain for the idea of Yankees-Dodgers as some will, just because of the nostalgic, and they're 2 great stadiums, and they're 2 great teams. I mean, they built them in baseball's unfair way through spending the most amount of money, but they are 2 really good teams.
Yeah. Well, my mom is a Dodger fan, but she was a Dodger fan because she grew up watching the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah.
And she would take a bus with her sister, Aunt Rita, to Ebbets Field and watch Jackie Robinson play in person.
How great is that?
So she goes way back, and I am not anti-Dodgers. Early in my career, we were the Dodgers affiliate, KTMS 1250 AM in Santa Barbara, California. And I think their uniforms remain one of the most iconic, gorgeous, perfect, pristine, crystal white with blue lettering. Beautiful, ruined by the Strauss logo on the helmets that baseball has hoarded itself out for. But I digress. Now, since they're a natural enemy in El Guapo to the Brewers, I have to hate them. But I'm not predisposed to hating the Dodgers per se. Yeah. I don't like how much money they're spending on players. It's insane and unsustainable for the rest of us, right?
No, and I don't like the idea that they can find this way to defer.
Total cheating.
I mean,
total and utter cheating
that they allow them to do.
Exactly. But I forget how the NLCS, ALCS worked in the past, where they how do they avoid having 3:00 games?
Shouldn't
during
be
the week?
2 games on the same day. You got to alternate,
It's
even if it
pretty
takes you
simple.
a little bit longer. Like you
Is
should
that how
play
it used to
Dodgers Mets
be?
game too. I believe so. I don't believe they had. You go back to the 70s where a lot of games were in the afternoon, and some people are nostalgic and don't have a problem with daytime weekday playoff baseball. I do.
No, but Mike, baseball is a game that been played every single day, though. Like, it's not meant to be played game, day off, game, day off, game,
Right.
day off. I mean, this is a game that's supposed to be played every
That's
single
why I'm
day.
not sure, Heller, they used to alternate. Like you say, I'm not sure. I mean, they've changed everything so much, I can't keep track of it. And conferences change. And I didn't even know that now the Army and Navy are in the same conference. So if they are undefeated, they'll play potentially twice in the conference title game, undefeated,
Back-to-back
and
weeks.
then
Correct.
in the classic America's game, Army Navy, which is the dumbest thing ever.
It's whole silly that you could get without divisions. Like the Big Ten doesn't have a division, right? It's just one league.
Big old
So
pie.
you're always going to finish with Michigan, Ohio State, always at 11 a.m. Central Time on the last weekend of the regular season. In theory, and it's not going to happen this year, but in theory, they could play back-to-back games.
Right.
They could play just like Army, Navy. They go through their season as they are right now. They will play in their conference championship game, and then 2 weeks later play the annual Army-Navy game, which is already scheduled. It's going to happen, but they could meet in their conference championship game just prior to that, which is goofy. But you could get that in college football because of the conference alignments. You could get 2 teams playing in their season finale and then meeting again in their conference championship 7 days later.
I hate it, but there's a lot of things I hate in sports, but I still put up with it because sports still has so many great, redeeming, exciting qualities to it that it makes you feel alive, and it's a sense of wonder, and things are not, you think teams are dead and they come back from the dead, whether it's the Tigers or the Badgers, who are back from the dead, it appears, after just a 2-week span of games. Give me your thoughts. How was Jersey, and what recalibration of the rest of the year should happen?
Well, do you know that an Uber from Midtown Manhattan out to New Brunswick and the hotel is?
Let's guess. Butchie, what do you think? I have no idea the miles. It's guess.
It's 24 miles.
24 miles. Manhattan pricing, surge pricing, game day pricing. What do you think?
85.
I'm going to say, I'm going to say 104, 104.50.
I'll go 104.51.
By the madman laughing by Heller, it's got to be higher than all that. And the real answer is
$227.
Oh my God!
Hope you expensed that.
How I went. My daughter Georgia was in New York City on business and decided to stay the extra night so I can meet her in the city for dinner. And she bought dinner. She got off cheap. She bought the dinner. I Ubered in for $100, $90. But when I Ubered back, $227.
$227.
I could have flown to Salt Lake City round trip and bought the dinners for less.
And 8 million plus people live there by choice.
Yeah, they like that.
And 20 million in the metro area.
Choice. Yes.
220. So you were into it for $320?
Yeah,
round trip.
Yes, that's why I said I could have flown the round trip, Madison to Salt Lake, and
God, you love your kids. Don't
At what
you?
point did you say, "I'm good"?
What are you going to do once you're?
I would have taken one in the morning.
I was going to have to be at the and do what? Stay where?
Early brunch.
Right. Yeah. Do what?
I was at the
stay where,
stadium.
how?
I was SHI Stadium in Piscataway by 8 in the morning.
And what is She Stadium?
I don't
So
know.
I saw
I'm
that.
sure
SHI.
I don't know. It's probably typically they're investment firms. I don't know what the business is, but I wondered about that during the week. SHI, is it shy, she, or is it SHI? And it's SHI.
I don't know.
I don't know what it
Geha
is.
Field in Kansas City is GEHA Field. They've been saying that now on the announcers, and I'm like, oh, well, it's too late. I'm already calling it Geha because it makes it sound stupid, and I hate you guys. So Geha.
Yeah.
So
And-
She Stadium. It's like a she shed.
A global IT solutions provider
there you
that
go.
helps organizations select, deploy, and manage technology. Maybe they help
See?
put that rocket in the air.
Yeah. See, there's another thing I hate about sports is the constant, grappling for money. It's just
Well,
it's not. But I
just
put
wait
up with
till
it.
Wait till they put SHI on the side of their helmets.
I hate that. Don't you hate that?
Not as much as you do, but I get it.
Oh,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't
driving
pound the
me
table
crazy.
on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't lose.
Looking at it is driving me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much money do they make from that? Couldn't have been that much. Not worth it.
Oh well, I bet you it is that much.
When the NFL puts ads on their jerseys, what will you say?
They will.
It's never been a sticking point for me.
When they put 3 corporate ads on their jerseys, what will you say?
I guess I won't.
When they replace the main name on the front, like soccer clubs do, and
Let's keep going.
Well, like soccer clubs, like Man United, their kits or their uniforms are the logo of the corporate.
And the sport has
sponsor.
never been more popular. Like that is
Major
not
League Baseball got $15 million for Strauss.
It's not a jumping off point for me.
That's
I guess.
it. $15 million. $15 million is a rounding error. $15 million across the board, split up by 30 teams
from a sausage company.
Just for
$500,000 a team to ruin your look for the playoffs. Just
by the way,
slap it on the side of the helmet.
By the way, with Wisconsin football, just stay with them in the moment. They beat a really terrible Purdue team. They hammered a Rutgers team. What I liked about that win, though, is that identity has come back to Wisconsin football.
I would agree.
They did pound the football. They beat up
against a team that was out there to be tougher than you.
Yeah,
like
Wisconsin was tougher than they're tough.
Yeah.
And that's what Rutgers is built on, being tough. And they've been pretty tough. Wisconsin out-toughed them. And they're going to do the same thing, I think, Saturday at Northwestern. Great weather day on the lake. But then it's going to be the Penn State game back here, then a road trip to Iowa, then an Oregon game back here, then a road trip to Nebraska. Jeez. Those 4. You got to take care of this business at Northwestern, but then those 4 will define if you are starting to turn heads or not.
Yeah.
Because you still need a marquee win. You don't have one. Haven't had one in years.
Badgers -7 against Northwestern down by the lake. Kick time on Saturday is when?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. And it's going to be beautiful. 70
it'll
and
be nice.
sunny.
It's just great.
Road
trip,
13,000.
Front of 13,000 in Evanston on the lake.
Yeah. How expensive? Let's find out how expensive that ticket is on what's going to be a Chamber of Commerce day by the lake. Once in a lifetime. They're playing there 1 year only. Temporary stadium.
Listen, Butchie's got all the connections. He knows all those Northwestern announcers. I mean, half of the Big Ten network is Northwestern related.
It is.
Well,
you're not going, Zay. Why are you even asking?
I'm aspiring right now.
If it's 70 on Saturday, Zabe, you're going to be on a golf course. Yeah. You're not going to sit at Wisconsin Northwestern.
No. Not a part of him that's going to do that.
I'm not going to I know this. I'm not going to a street fair just because there's a band playing. But you trying to shame me into September.
By the way, Oktoberfest. He didn't want anything to do with Oktoberfest, Mike Keller. Tell him how big of a miss that is in his life. I was
at Geneva National having a great day on the golf course.
No. Grand Geneva.
Mike Keller, tell him how big of a miss Oktoberfest was for him.
Butchie, I haven't been there.
You've never been to Oktoberfest?
No, because I don't get to go.
Then if you've never been to Oktoberfest, then you're not from Appleton. Then you've lost your Appleton roots.
What do you think I do on Saturdays? Butchie, what do you think I do on Saturdays?
I understand, but you grew up in Appleton.
Then you don't understand.
You have a bye week.
You think it's been going on for 50 years?
You have a bye week?
He's busy, and then he does the Packers on Sunday.
This is
and then he goes to a bridal shower at night with his daughter. He's the man
You've
of the
lost
year.
your Appleton roots, sir.
He's way up there in the standings. He's
Butchie, I will fight
you. Just because you have a bridal shower in Appleton does not mean that you have not lost. Oh,
I will fight you,
Brian. You've been 2 people want to fight you today.
Yeah, I know. Zabe and I will double team.
We're
fight
good, though.
you.
We're good.
All right,
let's double team. You need both.
I'll go for the legs, Heller. I'll go for the legs, Heller. You jump up on this neck like a spider monkey.
Oh yeah, there's
eyes, okay?
damage to be had there.
Content, here we come.
All right, Mr. Heller today, noon to 3. Go easy on Bruiser.
All right, sounds good.
Banger Reed.